Have you ever stared at your reflection long enough to make yourself uncomfortable? I don't mean fixing your hair or checking your makeup. I mean really looking, waiting, watching. After a while, something shifts. You start to question whether it's really you looking back. What if it isn't? My name is Maya, and I no longer see myself in the mirror because I'm trapped on the other side. It started 6 months ago when I moved into a strange old apartment building in the heart of the city. One of those crumbling vintage places that real estate agents call charming to distract you from the peeling walls and flickering lights. I had just ended a toxic relationship, quit a miserable job, and I needed a fresh start. This apartment was cheap, spacious, and strangely untouched, like no one had lived there for a long time. I should have known. There was one thing left behind by the previous tenant, a tall antique mirror. It stood in the corner of the bedroom, nearly as tall as the ceiling. The frame was dark, almost black, carved with strange patterns I didn't recognize. There was a sense of heaviness to it, like it didn't want to be moved, but I kept it. It gave the room character, or at least that's what I told myself. The first few nights were uneventful. I was busy unpacking, cleaning, figuring out where to put things. Every now and then I'd glance at the mirror. It always made me feel observed, but I brushed it off. New place, old building, nerves, that's all. Until the fifth night. I was brushing my teeth, totally normal. I looked up, casual glance in the mirror, and that's when I saw it. I blinked. My reflection blinked after me, not simultaneously, not mirrored, after. I froze, toothbrush still in my mouth. I laughed, shook it off. Maybe I was tired, maybe it was in my head. But the next night, it happened again. This time, I tested it. I blinked slowly, deliberately, and I watched, horrified as my reflection hesitated, then copied me. Exactly one beat behind. I told myself it was stress, lack of sleep. I even Googled it, mirror reflection delay, thinking maybe it was a lighting trick or an eye condition or anything logical, but there were no answers. And then it got worse. Sometimes I'd walk by the mirror and feel it chill, like cold fingers brushing the back of my neck. Sometimes I'd look up and swear my reflection was smiling, even when my face was blank. The turning point was when I covered the mirror. I couldn't look at it anymore. I draped a thick bedsheet over the entire thing and shoved it into the corner. That night, I slept better, until I woke up and saw the mirror completely uncovered, standing directly in front of my bed, closer than it had ever been. I screamed. I know I covered it, I know I moved it, but there it was, as if it wanted me to see it. I started filming myself at night. I set up my phone on a tripod, aimed straight at the mirror. When I reviewed the footage the next morning, I expected something, movement, a flicker, anything, but the video showed nothing, just me, sleeping, peacefully, the mirror untouched. But I don't trust what I see on camera anymore, because that night, something happened that no camera could catch. I woke up, middle of the night, no sound, no movement, just a feeling, that kind of gut-deep dread you can't explain. I sat up slowly, and I saw it. In the reflection, I was still asleep, my body motionless, undisturbed, lay peacefully under the blanket, but I was sitting up, in real life, awake. The reflection was behind, and then, slowly, it opened its eyes, smiled, and reached a hand out toward me. I leapt out of bed, ran to the kitchen, slammed the door shut behind me. I stayed in the kitchen all night, lights on, eyes wide open. In the morning, I tiptoed back into the bedroom. The mirror was back in the corner, covered again, like nothing had happened. But I was done pretending this was all in my head. I tried everything. I burned sage, called a priest, talked to a psychic. They all said the same thing. It's just a mirror. But they didn't see what I saw. They didn't feel the air grow thick whenever I got close, didn't hear the soft scratching sounds coming from inside the glass. I avoided it for days. Then, one night, I heard a noise, not loud, just a soft, rhythmic tapping. I followed the sound. It was coming from the mirror. I turned on every light in the room. My heart was racing. I approached slowly, and I saw it. Her, my reflection, standing perfectly still, not blinking, not breathing. And behind her, just barely visible, was a dark, endless room. A void. She wasn't in my room anymore. She was in hers. That was when I knew this wasn't just a haunted object. This was a door, a passage, and something on the other side was trying to switch places with me. That night, I dreamed I was inside the mirror. I couldn't speak, couldn't move. I was trapped in the dark room, watching as she, my double, lived my life. She wore my clothes, took my calls, smiled at my friends, and no one could tell. Only I knew. Only I was screaming on the other side of the glass. The next morning, I decided to destroy the mirror. I stood in front of it with a hammer in my hand, and I noticed something strange. In the reflection, I wasn't holding a hammer. My hands were empty. The reflection smiled, and then she raised her own hammer from behind her back. I froze, my throat tightened, and she stepped forward, closer, closer, until her hands touched the glass and slipped through. I don't remember the pain, just the cold, the silence, and then I was staring out. From the other side, she blinked once, twice, and walked away, in my body. Now, I watch her, I scream, I cry, I beg, but it doesn't matter, because now I'm the one behind the glass, waiting for the next person to stare too long, to blink too slow, to let her out again. So if your reflection ever lags, if it ever looks at you a little too long, don't move, don't blink, don't let it see you afraid, because once it does, you'll never see yourself again.